The Alps, Europe's crown of stone, a jagged fortress stretching nearly 800 miles, guarding nations with its snow-capped peaks and shadowed valleys. For centuries, this mountain range has been both a wonder and a curse. It's breathtaking to look at, but brutal to cross. Armies stalled here, merchants rerouted, entire regions cut off, not by politics, but by the raw power of geography. Even in the modern world, the Alps remain a problem. Their ridges twist roads, slow trains, and choke trade routes. But Austria, a country carved from the very bones of these mountains, has decided to fight back. Not by climbing over, not by skirting around, but by going straight through. This is the story of the Károlm Railway and its beating heart, the Károlm Tunnel. A 20-mile passage ripped through the Alps with billions of euros, cutting-edge machines, and raw human determination. A project so vast, so bold, it promises not just to change Austria, but to reshape the map of Europe. To understand why Austria would gamble billions on carving through stone, you need to understand its geography. Southern Austria is beautiful. Rolling hills, towering peaks, wide valleys dotted with villages. A paradise for hikers, tourists, and artists. But for anyone trying to move, people or goods, it's a logistical nightmare. Between the federal states of Styria and Carinthia, the Károlm mountain range rises like a barricade. On one side, Graz, the capital of Styria, a hub of innovation and industry, producing everything from advanced machinery to cutting-edge research. On the other, Klagenfurt, Carinthia's capital, blending natural resources with high-tech development, semiconductors, and a thriving tourism economy. Together, these two states form an economic axis vital to Austria. Yet the journey between them? Painfully slow. 3 hours by train, 90 minutes by car. In today's economy, that kind of delay is a death sentence. Cargo crawls. Workers waste hours. Investors look elsewhere. And beyond Austria, the stakes are even higher. The European Union is building the Baltic Adriatic corridor, a vast transport artery linking northern ports on the Baltic Sea to southern ports on the Adriatic. A lifeline for trade, connecting Poland, the Czech Republic, Slovakia, and Austria. But there's a catch. Austria's outdated winding railways threaten to break the chain. Without modern infrastructure, the corridor stalls at the Alps. So Austria made its choice. It would dig. The plan was audacious. A brand new high-speed railway, fully electrified, meeting European 10T standards. Timelines for speeds up to 155 miles per hour. Climbers and viaducts. Manipulation, new stations and stops. Alma cost, 11 billion euros. At the center of it all, the Károlm Tunnel. 2 single-track tubes, each stretching nearly 20 miles, the 7th longest railway tunnel on Earth. A passage so vast, it would cut travel between Graz and Klagenfurt from 3 hours to just 45 minutes. But that was only the beginning. By creating this shortcut through the Alps, Austria wouldn't just speed up travel. It would create a new urban hub, a mega-region of over 1 million people, suddenly bound together by fast, efficient transport. Industry, jobs, tourism, trade. A new Austria, connected by steel rails and electric trains. But first, the mountain had to be broken. Drilling into an alpine ridge is not as simple as digging a hole. Before a single machine could touch rock, surveyors drilled 6 miles of exploratory tunnels and more than 130 test wells. What they found was both fascinating and terrifying. The Koralm Range was a patchwork of stone, gneiss, schist, and fractured fault zones. Some layers were stable, others were dangerously unstable, a builder's nightmare. The solution came in the form of engineering titans, tunnel boring machines, or TBMs. Imagine an underground factory the length of a football field, capped with a spinning steel cutter head 33 feet wide. As it grinds forward, the machine crushes rock, removes debris, and lines the tunnel walls with concrete rings, all in one continuous motion. 2 of these giants went to work, 1 for each tube. At their best, they chewed through 66 feet of rock per day. But the Alps fought back. Fault lines forced engineers to abandon the TBMs in some sections, switching to controlled blasting, a slower, more dangerous process involving explosives, precision drills, and constant reinforcement. By the time the tunnel broke through in 2020, the mountain had surrendered nearly 317 million cubic feet of rock, enough to bury a city. But what do you do with millions of tons of rock? Austria found a clever answer: turn the mountain against itself. Near St. Paul, engineers built a massive concrete segment factory, covering 49,000 square feet. Here, excavated rock was crushed, mixed with cement, and reborn as tunnel lining. Every day, the factory produced 100 massive concrete segments. By 2019, the tally hit 42,000 segments, reinforced with 25 tons of steel daily. In total, 39 million cubic feet of concrete came from recycled alpine stone. And that was just part of the plan. Excavated soil was reused for embankments, dams, and noise barriers. Half of all material found a second life. In an era where megaprojects often scar the environment, Austria turned waste into resource, proving that even a tunnel could be green. But carving a hole is only half the battle. The other half? Making sure people survive inside it. The Koralm Tunnel is more than concrete and steel. It's a fortress of safety. Slashing 1,640 feet, cross passages connect the 2 tubes, creating escape routes. At the midpoint, a massive underground rescue station sits hidden, complete with 1,300-foot platforms, fireproof shelters, and emergency ventilation. Fire hydrants are placed every 164 feet. Mist system can smother flames instantly. Ejected doors seal off smoke and heat. Even the trains are smart. They'll run on the European Train Control System, a digital guardian that monitors speed and prevents collisions. In short, if disaster strikes, the mountain won't win. Of course, such ambition doesn't come cheap. The Koralm Railway carries a price tag of 11 billion euros, with nearly half spent on the tunnel alone. But Austria isn't spending this money to flex. It's an investment in its future, and in Europe's. Cutting travel time between Graz and Klagenfurt isn't just about commuters. It's about creating a new economic region where over 1 million people share opportunities, industries, and markets. It's about making cargo faster, greener, and cheaper, shifting goods from highways to electrified rails. A ton of freight moved 6 miles by train produces 15 times less carbon dioxide than by truck. It's about making Austria indispensable in the Baltic Adriatic corridor, turning it into the bridge between north and south. The Alps, once Austria's curse, could become its advantage. When the Koralm Tunnel opens to traffic in December 2025, daily life in Austria will change overnight. Graz to Klagenfurt, 45 minutes. Vienna to Klagenfurt, nearly an hour faster. Suddenly, daily commutes across provinces become realistic. Students can live in one city and study in another. Workers can cross borders for jobs without moving their families. Tourists can hop between regions in less than an hour. Economists predict Graz and Klagenfurt will fuse into a new urban hub, a million-strong workforce attracting global investment. And beyond Austria, freight will surge. Poland, the Czech Republic, Slovakia, goods flowing from their factories to Adriatic ports will move faster and greener than ever before. This isn't just a tunnel. It's a shift in Europe's balance of trade. But Austria isn't stopping here. Another mega project is already underway, the Semmering Base Tunnel. 17 miles long, it cuts beneath the Semmering mountain range, removing another bottleneck on the route from Vienna to Graz. Work began in 2012. After years of tunneling, the breakthrough came in 2024. But as every engineer knows, tunneling is only the beginning. Now comes lining, tracks, systems. The opening? Scheduled for 2030. Together, the Semmering and Koralm tunnels will create a seamless, high-speed artery across Austria. A corridor so efficient, it will redraw Europe's transport map. The Alps remain majestic, eternal, unmoved for millions of years. But inside, hidden from the world, human ambition has carved its way through. 20 miles of concrete, steel, and electricity. An invisible highway beneath ancient stone. When the first trains thunder through in 2025, it won't just be passengers on board. It will be the weight of history. Austria faced its mountains. And for the first time in centuries, the mountains yielded.